Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. Today is February the 3rd, and I am Audrey Codner, and I'm the owner of ACG and You Can Tutor membership. So, want to reach out here to really kind of give you a small glimpse of my new venture, which is called You Can Tutor. So, if you are a tutor or you're a teacher, that's the beginning of the day, you haven't gotten your kids yet, and you just said, you know what, let me see what's going on TikTok or Facebook, and I really want to get a change. And I'm not saying for you to completely jump ship, but right now you're feeling some type of way if you're still tuning in and listening to me. So when it comes to tutoring, it just seems like a lot of people think of it as something that a high school kid that, is really good at math does, or maybe even a college kid that just needs beer money. But I'm going to let you know that you can actually make a huge profit just by doing something that you love, breaking down concepts, really helping the kids seeing that light that everyone always talks about. So, yesterday, I was in the supermarket early in the morning because that's the only time I can go. And I ran into this person that he was just like kind of disheveled a little bit. And all of a sudden he was like, I'm just so tired. I don't want to go tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. And I don't know this person at all. And I just looked at him like, are you a teacher? And he's like, yes. And then he starts telling me some of the things that's going on in this classroom. And I was just like, so what do you really want to do? He's like, I love teaching, but for some reason, I just can't do what I'm supposed to do. I'm constantly doing emails. We're going to meetings. He was also a math teacher as well. So he's always going to IEP meetings at the same time, trying to like kick with all the standards. And he just really feels like he just couldn't teach. And as he was talking to me about all of this, I quickly transport myself about 5 years ago. I was crying in my classroom every single day at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was panicking every time we had a meeting because I always felt like it was a waste of time. I had to make sure that my kids were actually doing well, even the ones that were fighting me each and every time because I knew something bigger was getting in their way of their learning and I just couldn't do anything about it. And I felt lost. I felt confused. I felt exhausted. And I just wanted to do what I studied so many years to do, which was to teach. Then all of a sudden he said something. He was like, wait, you said you used to be in the classroom. What are you doing? And I'm like, okay, one, back up. Two, I said, I'm an online math tutor. He was like, you can make money doing that? And I said, yes. And I was like, trust me, my first year, I'm going to let you know, I was learning the whole concepts and I sucked completely at it. But then once I really kind of get to know what the systems are, and once I really started to get to know my particular niche and my particular audience, and I really started to streamline it, just like if you're doing any kind of solving of a problem, you don't want stuff everywhere. You just want what you need, and then you streamline it, and I keep it simple. I try not to invest tons of money. Like I made the mistake and did a website. I paid money for a website, and I was like, why? Why am I doing that? Right? Why am I paying all this money for a website? And I didn't know exactly who I was, what I was going to do. All I know is I know how to teach Algebra 1. I know how to teach what was called integrated topics, which was a combination of things which bridged kids to Algebra 2. And I knew I was good at that. But I didn't know how to market myself. I didn't know how much I should charge. And I really didn't know how to start. So I know I went to a couple programs, but to kind of sum it up to him, I said, look, if you really are serious about this, luckily I had a couple business cards because I always do in my lovely little trusty wallet. And I gave him a business card and I told him, call me. I'm like, this has nothing to do with, oh, I want your number and I want you to make you my bae. No, this had to do with, I want to help you. I want you to be able to live the rest of your life feeling free financially, get your time managed back together, as well as getting yourself back, not being on someone else's paid stays, not being on someone else's notion. So when it came down and he left, and then I got my stuff and I left and I was going to my car, and then I see him and he beeped and, waved at me, and I said, wave back. I haven't got a phone call yet, but it's going to be up to him. Just like starting any kind of business or any kind of venture, it's going to be up to you. And it is not going to be an easy venture. You're like, what? No, anything that you get or that may seem very easy is not, or it doesn't stay very long. Something that's really easy and access to you, like you got a client, okay, you're vibing, and then all of a sudden they leave. Because sometimes, guys, when you do good work, your clients are going to get what they need to get, and they're going to leave. And that's perfectly fine, because really, that's the whole premise of your tutoring. You're there to basically help that child go from one step, which is complete exhaustion. They feel dumb, they feel like they don't know anything, and they are emotionally deprived. So now, with your help, they're gaining confidence, they're gaining knowledge, they're expanding, they're pushing, and all of a sudden they're becoming confident enough and they're applying what they're doing, and now they're becoming independent learners. So when I hear from a lot of tutors, they're like, look, I really want to get kids in the elementary age and keep them for 7 to 8 years. And I'm like, why? Why not do well and then have that kid be an ambassador to your business? Sometimes I have to catch my breath, because there are times I can't believe that this is my job and I am making money, not just because I'm just like a money hungry person, but I'm changing people's lives. And usually I was thinking I'm just going to have kids up to their senior year, and then when they go to college, that's it. And I got one of my college students back because she's taking an intermediate math class, and I got her back. And the words from her father saying, because how you treated her and you respected her space and she was able to grow with you, I want you to keep tutoring her if you're available. Yeah, come on, let's go. Even if I'm not available, I always make room for my kids. It may be like a crazy hour at 9 o'clock at night, but I always make room. But when it comes to starting your tutoring business, there's about a couple of things that you need to know. And I'm going to give you some of these tips, and I really want to be done in like 15 minutes. Okay. So, the first thing, before you get to know your niche, before you start buying stuff and all this equipment and software, the first thing you need to know is, what is your mindset? You have to do that teacher to tutor mindset shift. It has to happen. Because if you bring all of that craziness that you have learned when you were a teacher, your tutoring business is only going to last maybe a year, and then you're going to get frustrated. And what's going to happen? You're going to go back to the classroom, as I keep hearing for some people, go back to the classroom as a substitute, which is less money than what you were making as a full-time teacher. Okay, make that make sense. Okay. Um, so get your mindset together. You are need to do a enema. You're going to have to clean yourself out. You got to purge all that. You got to purge that whole thing that, oh, I am a martyr. Hey, let me make sure I take care of all my kids. And okay, yeah, you want to do more kids? Okay, here we go. You can pay me whatever you want to pay me. And that's it. Yeah, I'm doing a business. Yay. No, you're not. In order for it to be a legit business, you have to make a profit. I'm sorry, not sorry. In order for it to be a business, you have to make a profit. So now you have to be in that right mindset. I am here. I have my terms and conditions. I have my systems in place. This is how I run my business. Do not let your parents run your business. This is what you believe in. This is what you want to face. So by having that right mindset, believing that every child can learn. It may take some of your expertise. Maybe you might get a kid and then all of a sudden they're outgrowing you, which does happen. While you're building up your cartel of other tutors, you could probably transfer that kid over to someone else and bless them. But before we can do anything, we have to have the right mindset. So now, after you have the mindset, you want to have your niche. Now, the first year, trust me, you're going to want to sample as many different layers of students as possible. You want to figure out where is your niche. So, like for me, I know that I was not going to do elementary. I do not have the patience. Maybe a little bit, but after a couple sessions, I'm going to be done. So you need to figure out, where is your niche? What is it? Is it elementary? Is it middle? Is it high school? Is it middle high? Is it high school and college? Is it college and adults? Which is it? Because you're going to need to learn to talk to your audience. Not really talking at them like, hey, I'm the best one out there. Come and join me. And this is what I do. And you're going to talk about me, 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 me. Guess what? You're talking about yourself in a dark, empty room because no one's not going to listen to you. They're worried about their kid that's crying. They're worried about their kid that's failing, and they feel like they're failing as a parent. The kid's feeling like they're dumb and stupid. And now it's time for you to basically say, stop that. Let's try to focus on this. Let's build up not only your knowledge, but also your confidence. So by figuring out what your niche, what is that age group that you want to deal with? Okay. What type of parents? What part of math, because that's what I'm going to speak about, what part of math do you really want to focus on? So by looking at that, you want to take an idea of that. So now once you got your niche, now you want to tell, all right, what do I need? What is it that I need to get started? The internet will be good. Computer, headphones, $1.25. Okay, seriously, why are we doing with 25 cents? $1.25, right? Then, if anything, especially for math people, you want to have a writing pad. You can get that from Amazon before we all boycott it. Um, So you got your writing pad, and then as well as you can have something like a notebook. Like I have a virtual, it's called OneNote, where I can get all my kids, like send me copies of what they're working on, give me an idea. I can pull some worksheets, I can pull my own worksheets, and then I can put it up electronically. And then we can actually write all over it while they're writing on their actual paper. If not, if you have Zoom, Zoom has whiteboards now that actually scrolls the way they were supposed to. Thank you, Zoom. Took you forever. Okay. But the only thing is, if a kid has a Chromebook, it's really hard to do the annotation. They can't really annotate. I don't know why Zoom and Chromebook are still fighting. Let it go. All right. But then you also have Microsoft Teams is another way to communicate with people. And there's a few others that are popping up. Okay. So you want to get like some of those resources. And believe it or not, you might already have those resources because you had to go to meetings before. You had to like be able to download stuff. Now, once you kind of get that, then you want to really figure out, what is your terms and conditions? What is it that is my boundary? How much I'm getting paid, when the appointments are made. And I always like to say, have a blank calendar and write out the dates and the times that you are going to be available for tutoring. You might just want to only start with 2 kids just to see if this flows. You might want to start with 4 kids to see, all right, is this really taking on at a certain price point to see if you do get clients like that. If you do, awesome. If you don't, okay, make adjustments. But that's the one thing about doing this business, you got to try. You just got to go out and try. And then this is the part that scares a lot of people. And this is the part that makes a lot of tutors join up those third parties because they're scared. This is something that's new. You don't know how to step into that world. So let me tell you, you don't have to do a third party. Like you don't have to do any out schools, you don't have to do any thumbnails or thumbtacks or whatever everything is. You can do this yourself, called marketing. And you're just like, Audrey, how do I market this? Like, where am I going to go? Okay, ready? This is how you're going to market it. You're going to first tell everyone. If you have Facebook, if you have TikTok, if you have Instagram, wherever platforms you are, also in maybe a YouTube channel, maybe LinkedIn, whatever, you're going to go live. You're going to have your cell phone in your hand. You're going to look at the camera and you're going to say, hey, everyone, it's so great to see everyone. Sorry to interrupt your night, but guess what? I'm starting a new venture. I'm being an online math tutor, or I'm an online English teacher. And then you're just basically breaking down a little bit of what you're going to do. My focus is in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry, a little bit of trig, but sometimes the geometry is in there. But I'm also doing pre-calculus. So if you know anybody that needs assistance with Algebra 1, Algebra 2, go ahead and have them contact me. And that's exactly what I did. And then 2 hours later, my friend Amy calls me. She was like, how did you know I needed a tutor? I was like, I didn't know. She's like, yeah, my son needs a tutor. Can you help me out? I was like, not a problem. At this time, I didn't do online. So what I did was I basically went to wherever we wanted to meet. We met up. I did my thing. And next thing you know, I'm driving home an hour later with $40 in my hand. And I'm like, I just made $40 doing something that I like to do. And teaching, I wasn't making $40 an hour. I can do this. I can do this. And I remember like meeting up, and like 2 weeks later, I got another client because I made flyers and I put it in my neighbors' mailboxes. And then one of my neighbors said, yeah, my granddaughter is having problems. Can you help out? Not a problem. Then another person said, hey, Audrey, I just saw your video. I have a friend of mine that has trouble with their kids with algebra. Can you help them with that? And next thing you know, it started to flow. It stopped for a bit because I wasn't continuing and being consistent with my marketing, but the word of mouth was carrying over. And yes, my first year I had 4 clients. It's nice, but that doesn't match what I need for my teaching to replace my teaching. I left teaching. Because it was right around COVID. I left. And I was just like, I'm not going back into the classroom. Like I still made videos for my students during the time, but then I was slowly building up my tutoring business. So when that happened, I was just like, I needed some assistance. I joined up a couple programs. And when I looked at some of the programs, it was great. It was great with the foundational piece, but then it was still missing me. And that's another thing that I want you to remember. And it kind of goes back to that whole mindset thing. You need to know who you are. You need to know what your boundaries are. You need to know how you're going to present yourself. And don't forget that. Don't let other people change who you are just for the mighty dollar. No, because here's the thing. There's how many billion people on this planet? And if you don't get this one particular person, guess what? By being present, as I like to say, I don't chase, I attract. I don't chase after people. I keep building content. I keep putting people in top of mind by like videos, or I might even reach out to people in my phone and just sending them a message like, hey, Happy New Year. Hey, Happy Valentine's Day. I just want to let you know that I'm starting this tutoring business. If you can, made myself a little flyer. Can you share this and put it on your social media for me? Because everyone's friends is not exactly the same friends. We all have the friends from work, we have the friends from the neighborhood, we have friends from the old neighborhood. We all grow and our friends expand. So guess what? When you having people advocate for you, that also naturally builds your business. So these are just the little things. just to kind of take in the mind. One is the mindset. Two is finding your niche, knowing who you are. Three is setting, like, what is those resources that you need? What are those boundaries? And then four, tell everyone. Tell everyone. Get on social media. You're like, well, Audrey, I don't like the camera, and I'm like, you're gonna have to suck it up, Buttercup, and get over it, okay? Because you're going to be an online tutor, so you're going to have to be the face. All right. So I would like to come on here. I might be able to expand it to like 30 minutes and maybe have some questions and answers. But I really just want to come in here, just give you a little pop and give you some ideas and some topics. If there is something that you really want to know, or there is something about this tutoring business that you're just like, I don't know if I can or I can't, but maybe I have someone that can help me, go ahead and message me. Again, my name is Audrey Codner, and I am the founder and owner of ACG Math Tutoring, and I tutor students from 7th grade to adults, covering everything from Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry, trigonometry, pre-calculus. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate. And if you really want to get some more information about my You Can Tutor, and you want to take your tutoring business to from a couple of kids to being fully booked, especially this is the time of year to do it, go ahead and reach out to me and just send me a DM, and then we'll take it from there. All right. Guys, have a lovely, lovely day. Stay true to yourself. And if you're on the East Coast, we're going to get ready for another snowstorm. It's supposed to be small, but you never know. Right? So you guys have a great